This is a good philosophical question to have over an extended coffee, Kelly, because I struggle with this as well. Like I have women in so I talk a lot about, as you know, like I talk a lot about aging well with muscle and bone and joints and mobility and all that, because that is my area of specialty. And it's the same thing. Even when I talk about food, it's like, does this break my fast? How long should I rest in between sets? It's like, what are you doing right now? Like that doesn't matter. Like just do it.
Dude,
like it doesn't matter.
Reel. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
That's a good one.
But that's what I try to, I think that we have delegated our decision-making ability as women, as a collective, to the doctor or to the whomever, so that we can't even make decisions for ourselves anymore. Yeah. And I don't blame women, because there is like this infobesity, right? There is so much information. It is overwhelming.
Heard that word. That's so good.
Yeah. Yeah. Infobesity. It's like my favorite word, because I think that there's so much, like women are trying to parse, like they hear someone on, like some shirtless dude being like, kale's going to kill you. And then someone else is like, no, vegetables are great for you. So then they spend so much time like trying to figure out. Yeah, right. And so they're like, who's right? Who's right? And then the energy is spent there. Like, which one should I listen to? And then they don't take any action on it, right? Yes. And then tomorrow it's like, then it's oatmeal. Like oats are going to kill you. Oats are peasant food. And it's like, is it? So you
have peasants doing in 14th century England? We actually don't want to live like that, truthfully, because they died when they were 28. I put this in my book. Again, like breaking down this naturalistic fallacy thing. Is like in 14th century, what is now England, the wealthiest people were the landed aristocratic males, right? They're the only people that are going to waste money on like paper and pen to actually say Benjamin got born, Benjamin died, right? Nobody else got like birth and death certificates then, because you had to be like wealthy to have paper, right? And so if you go back and look at longevity data in 14th century, these are the wealthiest people who by definition can't die in childbirth because they're male. Average age of life, 47. And this is like fact, because the haters will be like, that's not factoring in infant mortality. I'm like, yes, a lot of this data is if you made it to 5, so we can factor out, get out all the infant deaths. If you made it to 5, how long did you make it, right? Wealthiest men, again, didn't die in childbirth, 47. Average age of menopause, 51. You can imagine how the women did, right? And so it's like, I just want to wake people up to the fact that, like, yes, we made it multiple decades if you were lucky to not die in childbirth, but we didn't make it to 84. 90?
Right.
100? This is brand freaking new as a society, right? And I think that's the conversation of, like, we've never had to be proactive to make sure those final years are in health. And what we know now is you got to freaking start early. You can start lifting weights when you're 72, but it sure is nicer to already have that lifestyle going on before 72, right? Yeah. And so I'm like, that's what I think we're talking about, is like educating people of like, wake up to where we are now, which we've never, like, we have shelter. We're not freezing. I don't have to haul food or starve, right? Like we're immensely privileged. And then we're like, I don't know if hormones are natural. And I'm like, none of this is effing natural, you guys, at this point. I actually wanted
You're listening to the show on your phone. That's not natural.
Right. Yeah, you're listening on to this with things in your ears and a computer in your jean pocket. Like none of that's natural. And I actually wanted to name this book. So somebody was like, I did a podcast yesterday and they're like, why'd you name it The Menopause Moment? And I'm like, Amazon search terms. Like, I'm just going to be honest. Because of the publishers, I'm like, I wanted to name this book Aging in Captivity.
Oh.
Because for a nod to Esther Perel for Mating into Captivity, because it's a brilliant book for anybody in a long-term sexual relationship. Read that book. It'll help you. Yes. And then to be like, we're living caged, right? Like zoo animals live past menopause. That's the other argument I hate. There's only 4 mammals. There's only 4 whales and a human that live past menopause. First of all, most mammals don't bleed. And the definition of menopause is no periods. So, like, the definition doesn't even work. What they want to know is, do you live longer than your reproductive capacity? Because most mammals don't bleed. So, if you take an animal from fruit fly to yeast to harbor seals to whatever, besides orcas, because orcas do worse in captivity, because captivity is very shitty for orcas, killer whales. So to exclude the killer whales. But if you take everybody else and you're like, here's some food, here's some shelter, I got rid of your predators, I'm going to treat all of your infections, here's clean water. they all live longer than their reproductive capacity. And I put that in the book because I'm so sick of the humans are unique and natural, and we did this to have grandbabies and to be grandmas. And I'm like, average age of first period is 15, which means you could be a grandma at 30, which means you could be a great grandma at 45. You're still having your periods and have pregnancy risk through all of that. The grandmother hypothesis is absolute effing bullshit.
That was so I guess you're not a fan of the grandmother hypothesis.
No. Besides the fact that it's so well studied, and the guy who actually coined the grandmother hypothesis is I'm not sure about this. And most of these people died when they were 47 anyways. The guy who coined it was maybe. Right? So for society to take it and be it's so that we can be grandmas. Societies where grandfathers are involved, they do well too. So basically it's people who help out families, those cultures do well. But it's not a reason for you not to take hormones because you're meant to be a grandmother. It's just stupid.
Let's actually come back to, you mentioned testosterone upregulating osteoblastic activity, and then you mentioned sort of in very quickly vaginal DHA. So we've talked about vaginal estrogen on the show a lot, but I wanted to just come back to DHA as a moment. So for a moment of explanation, let's say, talk to us about DHA as the precursor to some of these hormones that we're talking about, and then how one might take it, what are some of the benefits, and then I would love for you to maybe even go a little bit into the GSM, the genital urinary syndrome of menopause, because I think that the last time you were on the show, I think my jaw dropped when you said, I think it was something 80% of women will experience clitoral atrophy. And you're and I think it's higher because people don't report it. They're not, people are too embarrassed to say it, or they don't even notice the changes because the degradation is so,
Doctors don't know how to examine the clitoris too. So
right. So there's that.
Yeah. So there's that.
Yeah.
Okay, so DHEA is dihydroepiandrosterone, and it is produced by the adrenals by and large. So naturally produced, it's like a hormone in our body, right? And it declines with age, as do all the other sex hormones. So there's two main ways to get DHEA. DHEA in America is a supplement. So it's not regulated like a pharmaceutical. That said, the vaginal DHEA in America is a prescription. Everything's made up and nothing makes sense. But here we have it. But I know DHEA in Europe and in Canada is a prescription. I don't know, you guys can't get DHEA oral.
I don't think so. No, not in Canada.
Yeah. So that's an interesting thing in and of itself. But so DHEA is what they call a precursor hormone, which converts to estradiol and testosterone intrachronology, meaning in the cell. The DHEA goes in the cell, it converts. So basically, all of these things are on a pathway of they can convert into each other. For anybody who's gone to medical school, it's the cholesterol pathway and the adrenal pathways. So DHEA in the genitals converts to both estradiol and testosterone. Why is that important? Because our genitals have a lot of androgen receptors. They have a lot of testosterone receptors. Getting into why it bothers me when people say testosterone's only for libido. Testosterone has been shown to help all domains of female sexuality, which include arousal, which is blood flow, orgasm, which is pelvic floor muscle contraction and blood flow, right? And testosterone helps the genitals be adult genitals. And when you take hormones away, those genitals can atrophy. The bladder muscle gets more spastic. So that looks like urinary urgency, urinary frequency, getting up at night to pee. The estrogen goes away in the vagina, so the vagina loses its microbiome. When you lose your lactobacillus, you don't make lactic acid, and the acidity of the vagina is actually a protective mechanism for the poop bugs not getting up to the pee place because the poop bugs don't like an acidic environment. So your microbiome literally changes when your hormones decline, and that's why we see an increased risk in urinary tract infections. So that's local DHEA. The brand name in America, again, it's a prescription, is called Intra-Rosa or Prasterone, but it's actually just DHEA. I went to Australia. I was speaking at the Sydney Opera House, which was insane, March 1st, and all the women I'm talking to, they're all on vaginal DHEA. And I'm like, why is everybody in Australia on vaginal DHEA? Because in America, it's quite expensive. It's like $80 a month, and a lot of insurance doesn't cover it. And they're like, oh, because it's only $40 a month here. And I'm like, damn, you guys, you're all the good stuff. So
go Australia.
Dollar for dollar, I would choose vaginal DHEA. But because
and would you do that in lieu of estrogen or together with?
It depends. Again, it's individualized. Like some women just need more. And the DHEA in America is a vaginal suppository. And so that goes in the vagina. But it is enough where the vulva actually does get better. But I think some women are on both. So it's an individualized thing. But dollar for dollar, I think DHEA is awesome and probably better because it has the mechanism of giving us some androgens as well as some estrogens. So testosterone converts to estrogen because it loses carbons, but estrogen cannot convert to testosterone. These are one-way paths, right?